Before we jump into the adventure, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, Roll20. Roll20 is the virtual tabletop that we're using to make this game possible. It hosts the map, the dice roller, and all of our character sheets, and they've seen fit to include us in their Spotlight program, which not only will help raise awareness and help viewers find the channel, but also gives us access to the pro-level subscription and unlocks many of the features like dynamic lighting and many of the scripts that we use to bring our game to the next level. So if you have any questions about how to get started or are looking to improve your abilities with Roll20, do not hesitate to reach out and we will do what we can to help you. It's a really powerful tool and we're thankful for them for sponsoring this show. And we are live with another episode of our Dragon of Icespire Peak adventure. I think we are up to episode 7 now. Feel free to correct me if that's not the case, but Jamrel the Bard, why don't you please tell us what happened last week?
Oh, well, all right. I guess I will. Last session began with Illum kind of awkwardly healing Vera, the half-orc druid that attempted to bore us from afar. We then arrived at the logging camp where we had hoped to deliver supplies, but we found it abandoned with several buildings in ruins. After exploring a little bit, we happened upon the issue. Some large insect-like creatures had burrowed under the camp and attacked its residents. A harrowing battle ensued, but we were, of course, victorious. We discovered that Harbin's half-brother, Tybor, had survived by barricading himself indoors, which seems to be a trait that runs in the family. We battled one more Ankeg and rescued the poor man. Tybor agreed to travel with us, and we decided to rest there for the night. During the evening, Zook made a very interesting and surprising confession about his past. Cazador spent some time encouraging Illum, and Ratheon and Longtooth threatened Tybor. The next day, we traveled to the oddly shaped hill that we had spotted on our way up. We found it to be a dragon barrow, upon which we discovered an entrance. We descended a curved staircase to an area with several tunnels for us to explore, and that is where we left off. Short but sweet this week.
That was good. Technically, we know it's a dragon barrow, but our characters have no idea.
Is it really a threat when you're just being honest with somebody, right? Like, truth. If anything, I might have saved his life. If anything,
but perhaps brutally honest. We'll go with that.
Brutally honest.
It's entirely possible.
My story, I'm sticking to it.
Right. So we're gonna do our movie-esque intro because two things are happening, and so I'm going to ask that y'all don't metagame because you're going to receive a little bit of outside information. So the camera is going to open up this week with the group of y'all walking down that 2-foot wide spiral staircase into the depths of the Dragon Barrow. Because remember, you grabbed a rope around a big dragon spine looking thing and pulled it down, and then we're descending into the barrow when we ended last week. Longtooth out front with his boar spear lit ablaze by the light spell. As the camera follows the group of you descending into the darkness, though, it's going to cut, and we're going to see Tybor. Tybor, the half-brother, the coward that y'all left to guard your ox sitting at the edge of the forest. He's going to be sitting around your cart, your ox, and just hanging out, and he's just kind of kicking dust, and it's not late enough in the day to really have started a campfire or anything, so he's just boredly hanging out with Vincent when there's a voice behind him, and it says, "What are you doing here?" And he's going to like spin around and almost like fall down in fear, back in the logging camp. And the camera pans around slowly, and there is a huge centaur standing right behind him. And then it's going to cut back to Longtooth coming out of the bottom of the stairs and seeing all of those dark stretching tunnels. And then it's going to cut back to the centaur and say, "I hope your friends aren't going down into that barrow. It's a dangerous place, especially at night." And then it's going to cut back to Longtooth stepping out of the stairs and into the barrow proper. So let's go ahead and drag y'all back over to the Dragon Barrow map.
Is it nighttime?
No.
Okay.
It's not yet nighttime.
Okay. And that
But
was all player knowledge, right? That's not. None of
Yeah,
us are at all
that's-
aware of
That'll
that.
be fine. Don't worry about it.
that is
Fine.
back. There is some random Centaur currently talking to Tybor, unbeknownst to y'all, as y'all walk down, and him saying they definitely should not be heading down into that barrow. It's really dangerous.
We'll find out the hard way.
Yep.
Oh, we should also mention that Aviad is taking a test.
You know, a good group would have done that much sooner, but we got around to it eventually. There is no Zook this week. I will let y'all decide whether you tag him along or if you just want to sit his character out in case anything crazy.
I think we decided to leave him behind with the wagon and guarding.
He's tinkering on his next invention.
Yeah.
Okay, well then I'll have him walk back to the group or to Vincent and Tybor, and he's totally gonna walk up with this like massive Centaur standing there. So we'll do some cutting back and forth with the camera. It'll be great.
Okay.
The important thing to note, though, Longtooth, is as you step out of this set of stairs, you notice that your light is not the only light down here.
Okay.
At first, it's really dark, but as you get in here and kind of search around, you see that there is light coming from the north and light coming from the south, and it's very dim. It's not like clear and bright like the light spell cast on your spear. It's a much smaller. Curtis can't see anything. It's a much smaller light.
Teeny tiny. It's like a teeny tiny spot on the map.
Hang
Right.
on.
So even though
Yeah,
Chris moves on the
It's
map,
dark. Yeah.
Yeah,
Before-
y'all
actually-
can see, right? It's just the fact that you're shoved into the stairwell because
yeah, I can see. I can see.
I can see it now. I couldn't a second ago.
All right.
I see nothing.
you're
Despite
all
what
like shoved in a wall.
Yeah. So despite what's happened on the map, before I step out like you just had me do, Longtooth pauses, seeing the light in either direction. He turns over his shoulder, looks at Ratheon, and kind of points in both directions. And then he's going to squat down on the floor to see if he has any inkling of, between the dust and dirt on the floor, if there's movement that's crawling around in this place. He's certainly one who didn't expect the lights.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Survival? Perception?
Give me a survival check as well, if you would like.
Okay, we'll start with we'll do the perception. That's what you call for.
I mean, I can give you both perception to scout out the place and survival to see if there's any tracks and that kind of stuff.
All right, so 8 and 18. So better with the tracking than the awareness.
Okay. You do not immediately see anything, especially since you're still very much in the stairwell. Like, there's only so much to be seen without stepping out. But with your survival check, you look down and you see that there is a pretty solid layer of dust across the floor, and it does not look like anyone else has been stomping around in here. Like, you're the first one in a good long while.
The walls that I'm looking at, are they just natural rock?
It's actually packed dirt.
Packed.
This is not a cave down in the ground. It's a mound that's been built up.
Fair.
And
Okay.
this is inside of that. So it's topsoil.
Longtooth is gonna quietly make his way down towards this intersection to the point where he can peek around this corner a little bit. I know I can't. I don't know if you can do like a half square here. It won't let me.
Probably not.
Yeah.
If you hold Alt and move your token, it will. But you have to hold Alt.
All right. Thank you.
You can break yourself off the grid line. So you look around the corner and
With the idea being that he's just kind of humped up against the corner there, just kind of peeking, peering
I
out.
imagine you're doing some Tom Clancy style, like lean and look.
Right.
And you see that the hallway, it goes straight for about 2 feet before kind of 45ing off and angling into a larger room. And there is an orb, probably about the size of your head, and it's just a ball of light, and it's kind of just wavering in the air. It's not doing anything. It's not moving towards you. It's just suspended, and it's moving enough that you can see that it's moving. It's not staying in one place, but it's not like bouncing all over the place.
Longtooth
As Longtooth looks over and sees Ratheon, Ratheon is grinning back at him, knowing that he sees that magic. You can see it in his eyes without even being there.
Yeah, you know what? It's magic. He doesn't like magic, so he's going to continue along.
Even from that position, as you start to move, but even from that position, once you like look back at Ratheon and then go look, there's light coming from this hallway as well. So you have essentially 4 directions. North, south, and west all have light, no light to the east.
This place is cursed with magic.
Your little ball friend just kind of... It's not making any noise, but it's just almost like a firefly kind of just hovering there.
He nods at Ratheon as if to suggest Ratheon should take point.
Ratheon will quietly nod and pull his shield and his mace off of his back. Will attempt to stealth as best he can in his mithril armor.
With a dog behind him.
That's actually not mine.
It's mine. It's feeding time. The dog's going to
I still can like barely see anything. Like I can't see the light that Longtooth is generating.
You can't for some reason. Everyone else can?
I mean, I can see what my token can see. Like the line of sights are working for me.
Sure.
I can see the ambience. I just can't see Longtooth's light.
Yep. Give me a second.
Shamro pretty much sees.
There we go. I can see now.
Emerald is a human, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so Illum actually taps Jamrel and says, are you able to create light?
No, that's not something that I can do. Usually other people help us out with that.
She looks up towards Longtooth, knowing that she has light on his spear. Perhaps a torch?
I have a candle. Candle would work.
I think Illum has a torch.
Ratheon and Longtooth, you see another orb.
Yeah.
As you start to come down this
Definitely.
hall, it like brightens up a little bit, and it too starts just kind of wavering in the air.
So, Seal, obviously, as we move around on the map, there'll be little delays here, but Longtooth's general intent is to be attached to Ratheon's 6 as he creeps around.
Got it.
So Illum pulls a torch from her traveling pack and snaps her fingers with prestidigitation. It sparks to life, and she passes it over to Jamrel.
Oh, that's quite a trick. Thank you.
It will probably help all of us.
Probably. All right.
Ratheon looks to Longtooth and looks up the north path, looks up the west path, kind of.
Your little orb starts to move away from you.
Yeah, and Illum is going to
Longtooth
indicate.
is not happy about that.
Illum
y'all, like-
wants to take up the rear, so she's sort of indicating Jamrel should go ahead.
As y'all start to hesitate, the orb moves, we'll call it 10 feet away, and then Illum, the orb to the south there, time out Ratheon, stop right there. As the rest of y'all start to filter by, that one kind of starts to go up and down on almost like a figure 8 kind of thing. But Ratheon, I need you to roll me a D6 and a D4. See, that's not too bad. As you step on that square, the floor gives way, and you fall into a, you don't know this yet, but a pit full of rusty swords. And you're lucky because you only rolled a 1 on the D4, so you land on exactly 1 sword. So
good.
1d6 piercing damage as like a thigh takes a nice rusty sword right through the meaty bits.
Oh, so much for being quiet.
What was that?
The rest of y'all hear the noise of a guy in a whole bunch of metal falling in a pit full of metal.
But he's wearing doesn't he wear like the elven chain, right? So it's not as bad.
Yeah, but he's still got a huge shield and everything else.
Fair.
Plus, he cries out, "Fuck!"
Well, there's our one F word for the night.
Yep.
PG-13 rating.
You wasted it.
So as Ratheon falls down, the first thing Longtooth does is he looks around to make sure it's not going to ambush, like we're not getting pounced on immediately. Assuming nothing comes rushing for us, Longtooth will lay down on his chest there and reach down with his long arms and try and see if he can help Ratheon pull himself up out of this pit.
Okay. Two things. One that's 8 piercing from the the first.
I took the other 4 off
from the second. And then the moment that Longtooth reaches down to start to pull Ratheon out, I'm going to need everybody to go ahead and do that initiative thing.
That was quick.
I wonder only one who we're not being attacked. Oh my gosh.
It's all right, guys.
I was trying to be stealthy.
You know the paladin's plight.
Yeah. How did that work out for you?
That makes sense because I'm busy trying to fish Ratheon out as opposed to paying attention.
I mean, the pit trap went off. It waited till y'all were in a clump, and now it's going to do the thing.
Makes sense to me.
Is everybody
So I'm
rolling?
currently prone by my explanation, right? Because I was laying down to fish Ratheon out.
That's fine. I'm sure it won't matter. Oh, it rolled a 24 on initiative.
Scratch that.
It'll be fine, guys. It'll be great. How do I not have the character sheet open? I am like the worst DM. Okay. This thing is going to fly over, and as you pull Ratheon up out of the pit, it is going to give him a little zappy. And miss terribly, like the
Zopped.
worst is
All right.
this.
So actually, when it gets close like that, it provokes an opportunity attack from me because my new feat, my polearm mastery.
Sweet. Do the thing.
Okay. So
From your belly.
Oh, that's so cool.
From your belly, stab past Ratheon's face.
So I would say that that's a disadvantage because I'm on my stomach. So it's the lower of the two attacks. It's the lower. What's the first roll anyway?
Does not hit.
All right.
It like Legend of Zelda fairy dips out of the way real quick. Makes the little angry ding 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 ding, and then kind of buzzes around. And
That's such a cool image though, because I picture Longtooth is reaching his long arm down into the pit, but he still has his hand on his pike,
Right.
and then sees that thing and just jabs out at it. That's cool.
And we'll say that your jab is, and it having to duck and weave is why it ended up not zapping your buddy in the back.
I'm good at the fact that Longtooth just saved Ratheon's life.
Indeed.
I'm actually good
Cazador.
with that too.
Cazador, your friends are playing in a pit apparently, and they have like a weird light globe that they're messing around with. So that's a thing. What do you do?
At the moment, I think I'm just going to come over here and can I aid Longtooth in getting up? And I think that's just where I'll end it because I don't really have a lot of space to do anything else.
You can give him a hand up, and I'd say that his movement would only take a quarter of his movement instead of a half, but like it's a narrow hallway and there probably won't be too much to do with that. But sure, you can, considering the size of the hallway, Longtooth is not taking up the whole thing. So if you want to give a hand to Ratheon, that's something that you can do, or you can get Longtooth up and out of there so that he can more properly deal with the lightning ball of death.
Say if I could help Ratheon, I would prefer that, even with moving into this space and moving back out of it at difficult terrain. I should have plenty of movement for that.
Sure.
So yeah.
Make an athletics check, and if you roll over, we'll call it 12. On his turn, Ratheon can get out of the pit as his movement instead of his action. So no.
Nope.
Ratheon, you're in a pit full of swords. Lots of things are happening, and there's lightning sparking past your face.
I will curse loudly and pull myself up out of the pit.
On the other side? Longtooth's side.
No, I'm going to pull up on the side with the stupid thing.
Okay. That makes sense. It's floating in the air, so you can very much get through it, and yeah. There you go.
So it was my action to get out of there.
Yeah, I won't make you roll for it because it's not a deep enough pit that you need an athletics check, but you do have to scramble on up out of there and then stand up.
All right. Ratheon sneers at this thing.
I'm sure it'll go great. A loom. Lots of noises are coming from down the hallway, and there's while that's happening, you still have one over here that's like dancing back and forth.
And so I think a loom is going to look back towards that one and see if it is like approaching, or if it looks like it's changed color, or if it's made any obvious shift in its I don't know, demeanor, if that makes sense.
Not really. It's yellow, orangish, almost like the color of a campfire. And then it's doing that thing. I hate to keep going back to Legend of Zelda fairies, but it's doing that like slow, casual float, but then a sudden dip. And so slow, casual float, and then zip, zip. And then it depends on whether you're looking at it as well. When you turn around, it kind of just goes back to floating. But the moment you look back at it, it kind of moves around quickly a little bit.
Yeah, Alum calls up the hallway. Let me know if you need my help. I'm going to keep an eye on this strange light. And so she's just going to sort of put her back towards Jamrel and ready a action to cast Eldritch Blast if it starts to like move towards her.
Am I going to have to go get the flowchart?
I'll say if it gets within 10 feet before it can get any closer, she's going to zap it, or attempt to anyway. And that's going to be it for my turn.
Okay. Longtooth.
Longtooth pulls himself up to his feet, mutters about magic, and will attack this light again, as ridiculous as that sounds.
Do it to it. Stab it right in the ball.
I'm assuming that an 8 does not hit this thing.
No. Casual reminder, you all have inspiration and can use that to re-roll.
Do you let us re-roll, or do you let us roll with advantage? Because re-rolling after the fact is more powerful.
Right. But since it's automatically rolling with advantage, if you roll an 8 and you see that the other one's a crit, I don't want you to be like, I use my inspiration to take that crit.
That's my point.
So,
I think we have to call it out before we attack.
Right. So if you call it out before you attack, I'm fine. If you're like, crap, I want to use my inspiration, I'm going to make you re-roll, not take the second number. And then you would just use the first number on the next roll, ignoring the second one.
Understood.
Totally fair.
All done.
No movement?
There's a pit between me and that ball of light, I assume.
I mean, jump over there and just grab life by the ball. Jamrel.
I'm not going to reward that behavior. I'm sorry.
Okay.
With that, I guess I'll nod to Illum and move forward a couple of squares so that I can get a bead on this ball. And I will shout at it, "You may be a ball of light, but you're going to lose this fight." And I'll viciously mock. For 1 point of damage.
That's okay.
If it fails.
But look at that brand new wisdom save.
It's true. It's a classy
14.
14. My sheet minimized and I could not see it to click on my wisdom save. Jamrel did a thing.
Hey, and it's
He's
got
the first
disadvantage.
He's the first one to hurt it.
Drawn blood. First blood goes to Jamrel.
-1. Enter. Sweet.
We'll take it. We'll take it. And I'll back up a little bit so there's some space.
Got it. That's going to bring us around to the top of the round. So we're going to flip back to Tybor sitting, on the back of the cart, fidgeting around when this huge centaur walks up. The camera kind of does a slow pan and you see Zook has come out of the top of the barrow and is walking that way. But the Centaur is standing there, and Tybor's like, who the heck are you? And he says, I guess you would say kind of a guardian of the forest, but I saw you and your group when you were headed north, and when you were headed back, it looked like you stopped, and I just wanted to make sure that y'all weren't going into the Barrow. There's strange watch lights that hover around it at night, and I'm pretty sure it's haunted by the spirits of the dead. And then it's going to cut back to the group of y'all fighting some weird light ball thing. Which I accidentally clicked past, but it is going to try to lightning shock Ratheon. Does a 17 hit you?
It does not.
Okay. Little arcs of electricity like bounce off your shield and arc around it and do that like before dying off. And it will scooch here. And that's its turn. Cazador.
All right, now that we got some space to work with, I am going to get over this pit full of swords.
Yes.
So that's going to be step number 1, if you'd like me to roll for that.
I think you can, it's based off your strength, you can jump a number of feet, and I imagine as long as you have at least a 10 strength, I think you can jump that fine.
I'm going to choose to do it acrobatically instead. So yes, I could do it via strength, but instead I'm going to go wall to wall and do something much more interesting.
Make an acrobatics check. There you go.
Don't whiff it.
Jamro, you were, look at you go. I'm not on the battle map. I'm sorry, guys. See what happens when I'm juggling windows? Thanks, bud. So you do the kick off the wall, land triumphantly on the other side, and then spin around, and you are face to face with a ball of lightning.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to stab it, so let's see how that goes.
That works.
Cool. And that is it. I don't know if I want to touch a ball of light with my bare hands. So with my new feat, because I have used a melee attack against it, I am going to move.
Okay.
Here. Not provoking an attack of opportunity.
Kind of have to sneeze. It's right there.
I thought you were telling me I kind of had to sneeze for something in the scene.
Nope, just fighting it off. All right, so you stab the ball of light, and then you scooch around this rock pillar here, and now that you have a moment, you can see that there are 4 stone sarcophagi in this room. And your little ball of light friend kind of still bobbing and weaving. Same thing for you, Illum. You have one over there that's just doing a kind of lazy W and then a figure 8, and then just...
I presume Ratheon is facing the ball, so I'm just going to tell him, behind you.
Got it. Ratheon.
Ratheon will raise his shield and square up against the ball of light as he defensively moves here to block it off. But as he raises his mace to strike it, you see that his visage sort of goes slack for a moment, as if he is suddenly otherworldly intrigued by this thing, and instead of striking it, he's going to cast Divine Sense on it.
Okay. Totally just remembered your Vicious Mockery would have had disadvantage. You missed anyway, or it missed anyways, but I just want to let you know that I didn't 100% forget you, Jamro.
I would have said
Extra
something.
missed.
Don't worry.
Yeah. So you Divine Sense what now?
So he lifts his mace, and as he's about to swing, he sort of zones out and becomes much more intrigued by this thing than you think he should, and his face sort of goes slack as he does. And instead, he engages his Divine Sense to derive further detail about this strange creature.
Link that for me, or tell me what it does, because I don't want to mess it up. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. You can open your awareness to detect such forces. Until the end of your turn, you know the location of any celestial, fiend, or undead within 60 feet. This thing is undead.
That's all I need to know.
You know the type, celestial, fiend, or undead. It is undead, but not its identity. Okay. Within the same radius, you also detect the presence or any place or object that's been consecrated or desecrated, as with the hallowed spell. Okay.
So instead of striking it, his mace returns to its sheath, and you just hear him, without looking away from it, say, "Leave it." And that's it.
Loom, it's your turn, and the ball has gotten 10 feet closer to you.
Loom, I'm going to back towards my compatriots. So that's 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going to get as far as I can. Yeah, just sort of assess the situation, and same thing. I'm just kind of guard that back pathway. Actually, probably once I see what's there, I'll step here so I can keep an eye on Jamro.
You want to try to shoot it, or are you going to heed Ratheon's warning?
If I heard Ratheon, I would probably. Yeah, I didn't want to.
You were only like 30 feet away from him.
It was almost whispered, though, when he said it. Like he was.
Oh, okay.
He's not himself when he said it.
Leaning towards no, then, since you were further away and around a corner.
Yeah, and did it stop when it got to 10 feet, or were you asking me like, hey, it's 10 feet away from you, are you going to make your
it moved
attack?
closer and then was kind of just doing its thing, and then you backed away from it, and that's the last place you saw it was 10 feet closer, 10 feet down the hallway.
Yeah, she at this point, she'd rather just leave it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, no. I'm good.
Longtooth. I'm going to say you may have, if you didn't hear it exactly, you saw that Ratheon said something.
Yeah, I think I heard it, right? Because I'm paying attention to Ratheon, and I'm pretty, I'm a short distance away. I think I have like a 9-foot long standing long jump. So I'm going to disengage from my action and just hop over the pit and move past Ratheon over here.
Sure. I'll allow it.
And he shrugs at Ratheon like,
You notice Ratheon does not respond in the way that he normally would. His gaze is fixed on this thing, and his eyes have become sort of sallow.
I'm done.
Okay. Jamrel. Everyone's jumping over the pit. All the cool kids are doing it.
Apparently, I still haven't even really seen the pit. I'll draw my rapier and squeeze past the loom to here, and I see this. The guy's just standing around.
Yep. And your torch went into the wall.
Oh, yes, I guess it did.
It's fine. I
I'll
just
fix
thought it was
that.
funny. All of a sudden, all of the wall lit up.
Oh.
You see a pit full of rusty swords.
Yes. I guess I too will just hold an attack for if an orb comes close enough to me and seems to be threatening.
Okay. It is the top of the round, so we're going to, as Jamrel walks up and torch in one hand and rapier in the other and stops right there at the pit of swords, we'll do a swipe cut back to Tybor as Zook arrives, and the Centaur is, don't mock me, Curtis. The Centaur is talking to the group of them. I'll talk to Aviad and see if he wants to get any more information on this on the back end. But we cut back as the Centaur is basically saying that, I came out here because Neverwinter Wood has actually become overrun with orcs. They're in league with some kind of half-orc spellcaster, and deep in the forest, there's a cave It's actually more of a hill full of caves, and they've seemed to like set up a base of operations there, and they're just kind of running amok in the forest. And seeing as I'm kind of a self-appointed defender of the woods, I've come to y'all. Y'all seemed to have done a number on the logging camp, so I was wondering if you brave heroes would be interested in undertaking this particular quest. And it's going to cut back to the group of y'all in the pit, and the ball of light is going to move in a manner that would provoke if you wish to attack it, Ratheon. But it is just going to disappear into that rock column.
I will not.
Okay. The little blinky light just fades into the wall, and aside from the lights that you all have with you, the room is otherwise dark and uneventful.
Cazador just shoots a look to Longtooth like,
What gives?
You realize probably that asking Longtooth about weird magical things is probably not where to go.
really more of a question about Ratheon than necessarily the magic things.
He just shakes his head at all that weird nonsense.
It's above his pay grade.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to follow Cazador over to this coffin, this sarcophagus.
Yep, there are 4 of them. They are all, I'm assuming, stone. I will let you know if that is not the case. Carved from solid block of granite, and it is sealed with a heavy granite lid. It appears to be airtight, but there is mold growing on the outside of it. Nothing that you would recognize as dangerous, but just clearly very old.
Other than mold. Mold can be dangerous.
Bad for the respiratory tract.
That's what I'm saying. You see that the mold is not like some sort of spore.
Okay.
Like it's not a poisonous or infectious mold to the best of
It's
your
a spore druid!
Well, as I'll remind you, Longtooth is no Aragorn, right? So
Yeah.
he is going to pop this thing open.
Give me an athletics check.
Are we sort of out of initiative, or?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all are out of initiative unless y'all do something that makes your
Ratheon,
friend come back.
Ratheon, can you move forward so we can, try to get over to the other side here?
Yeah, come on. It's clear.
All right.
Y'all jump the pit in time to see Longtooth over there, like lifting with his back, not his legs. And it is just a solid granite slab, and it is not budging.
He points at Ratheon like, come help.
Ratheon's gaze is still transfixed on this pillar, and it takes him a few moments to sort of like move here. He's still looking at it, and then he kind of shakes it off and comes over to help.
Give me an athletics check.
So it would be an advantage because we're helping each other, right? I'm thinking.
Sure. Sure. So you manage to slide it backwards, and it falls in the spot between the back of the sarcophagus and the wall, and there's just this resounding big thud as it hits the ground and kind of grinds into place.
I suppose we're not trying to be quiet then.
Why are we disturbing this grave?
We're adventurers. That's what we do.
Do we know these people? Or?
No, that's the point.
What's inside?
Okay, then.
So you see a human, and it's all just bones, but it's a human, and he's laid in the sarcophagus with the arms on his chest kind of thing. And there's a completely rusted out, super worthless longsword in there with him, and then your standard round wooden shield that's got the like metal cone in the middle.
Like a Viking round shield.
Yep. But human, male if you had to guess, sword and shield laying in the sarcophagus, but nothing immediately jumping out as valuable.
Well, Longtooth is extremely reverent, so he just scoops all the bones to the bottom of the sarcophagus as opposed to dumping him out as he's looking at rummaging around inside.
Make an investigation check.
Can I also look around and investigate for any sort of markings or anything that would identify?
Sure. Longtooth, there is nothing in that thing but apparently a dead fighting dude and his rusted out gear.
That's right. We have 3 more opportunities.
That you do. Jamrel, the... sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
It's okay.
real quick. The sarcophagus, or sarcophagi rather, they have like a detail etched into the top of them, but aside from being some lines and some embossing, there's no like names or anything like, so-and-so the brave or anything. But yeah, you have a clump of dead fighter now and 3 unopened sarcophagi.
Jamril, did you say you sensed some magic emanating from down here?
Yes, I did. I suppose that was kind of further to our west, where kind of the wing of the hill was. I believe.
Make an intelligence check.
If my sense of direction is true, that should be...
You're in the west wing. Bum bum.
Yes, the west wing.
Can you still sense it, or should we cast again? Either you or myself, the ritual?
I suppose we'd have to cast it again. I can do it if you'd like. To wait a few minutes here, if everyone's okay.
I'm okay.
It seems prudent to me.
All right. I will plop down and begin ritually casting.
Does it see through solid objects?
I believe it was...
You see a faint aura around any visible creature or object that bears magic.
blocked by 3 feet of dirt.
It does 1 foot of stone. It is not 1 foot. Northwest and southeast sarcophagi have a lovely glow to them. That is northwest and southeast. So the one you're directly in front of and the one that Longtooth is in front of.
Well, speaking of magical loom, there's some right here.
The one that Longtooth is currently opening, or trying to.
Did you give me a strength check?
Not yet.
Or athletics? Give me one of them athletics.
15.
Not enough.
He, again, looks at Ratheon and points.
It takes even longer for him to pry himself away from the pole, but he comes and helps again.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore? Not enough.
18?
We're going to continue working on this.
Wow.
I mean,
Got it. Yeah.
there you go. There's a 21.
There you go. So Ratheon comes over to help, and like he starts to lift, but he starts to look back at the column, and Longtooth just kind of shoves him out of the way and gets on in there and lifts. And in this one, right? In this one, there is another humanoid, could be human, could be elf, kind of hard to tell. Another skeleton laying there, but this one, alongside of it, is a very finely crafted lute
Oh,
and rotting leather armor.
nothing but junk in here. No.
Smash!
He grabs the loot, and it looks like I would imagine to Jamel's horror, it looks like he would break it with his big old gnarled woodsman's hands. Hands it to Jamel.
Oh, thank you. This is beautiful.
It is glowing with magic.
Mm.
I'm gonna go ahead and give you the card. Feel free to spend time identifying it later, but just so that I do not forget. That's right. I can just click the thing. You got that?
I did.
Nice.
There you go.
Seeing Ratheon's erratic behavior, Cazador is going to approach him and then approach him again once he's been circling this pillar, and then continue to approach him, and then finally just stand in front of him and say, "What is it that has you so distracted? You didn't want to fight it, but now you're ready to fight it."
I have no intention of fighting this thing. And he doesn't take his eyes off the pillar as he says that.
Well, then what in the hells is it?
I don't know. I can...
Give me a religion check. Do you have any reason that you would know what a will of wisps are?
Not unless any of my priestly training in my paladin order had me stumble across them in a book.
Yeah, because, they hang out in haunted, swampy type areas and other burial type grounds. But if you haven't necessarily been to them, it's more of a urban legend is not the right word, but people see strange lights in the graveyard at night. Yeah, okay, well, people see all kinds of weird shit in weird locations at night. Big deal. 10 athletics does not open the sarcophagus. 15 athletics does not open the sarcophagus. 21 opens the sarcophagus.
Meanwhile, we're all just sort of waiting around as
Yeah.
5 minutes go by as they're struggling.
In Longtooth's mind, if there's anything good in here, it's his, because he's the only one working for it.
Yeah.
I'll step up to Longtooth and be like, "Be careful. There is something magical in there. So just, be careful."
So he
Pushes you out of his way, continues.
he tries and nothing, and he tries and nothing, and then Jamrel's and he pushes him out of the way, and he tries and he flips it off, and it's not even a slow slide and clunk back. He gets some good elbow grease into it, and it actually slams into the wall, and instead of being angled up against the sarcophagus, it's actually hits the wall and falls the other way, so it's leaned against the wall. And then he's he's got a little bit of breathing heavy, and he's ready. He's earned this. It's going to be something great. And he looks in, and it's a humanoid dressed in wizard looking robes, and it just has a necklace on. And there's no good, sweet, long tooth type gear in here. It's some wizard.
He knocks that skull off the thing's shoulders and grabs that necklace, is what he does.
Okie dokie. You have a necklace full of little orange beads.
Oh, God, no.
Right?
He puts that thing on, looking at everybody who didn't work to help.
Okay, so you clasp your little necklace on, and it has, it does not tell me, so I assume it has all of them. So what's it, 8 on there?
Who's dangerous now?
And I would know what school of magic it is, just so you know.
Evocation.
Evocationist.
Be careful with that necklace. It could be volatile. You never know.
Roll me a d6 plus 3, long tooth.
Certainly.
Certainly.
So 6.
Yep, it's got 6 little orbs. So it's a single gold chain, and then it has 6 Y-shaped chains that each go down to several, about the size of the end of your thumb, glowing orange orbs.
Wait, they're actually glowing?
They're not glowing light, but it is they're not just a solid
shimmery
orange color. Yeah, the light comes through them basically. Translucent was the word I was looking for, not glowing.
Okay, because he's
don't mind my vernacular.
He's not putting some glowing thing around his neck that'll chop his head off. He's
Yeah, well, you put it on and you look oh so pretty. And yeah.
So if Longtooth is done and everybody is getting antsy and looks like they want to move on, Ratheon is going to sort of reach out his gloved hand and put it on this pillar. And it almost looks like he's on the receiving end of a conversation that you can't hear. You can see that in his expression. And then he sort of closes his eyes real tight and shakes his head. And when he opens them back up, they've gone back to normal. They've lost that sallow nature, and he's kind of himself again. Come on, let's get the hell out of here.
Maybe I should go first this time. And I'm going to finally get to use my expandable pole. I'm going to... And if we're going to continue going, I'm going to kind of like knock around to make sure that we're not walking into another pit full of swords.
I was muted. All I said was K. So y'all jump over the pit, and the group of y'all head back towards the center column there. Are you heading north or south?
Just before Illum was going to jump over the pit, he puts a hand on her shoulder and puts the necklace in her hand, grunts, magic stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah,
If you could see, there'd be an eyebrow raised.
dang with the stuff.
It'll all be worth it. Everyone wants a loom armed with 6 fireballs. So a couple of things are going to happen. I need to know whether y'all are going north or south, though.
I just got a thing in Roll20 that my connection was interrupted. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, the server was
me
acting
too.
funky last night, too. It'll probably do that periodically.
Weird. Okay.
Still working on my end. I saw the warning, but it appears to be functioning. North or south? South.
We'll see on Kazor. Looks like she's going south. Longtooth will head down that direction.
Is there a legend? Am I not seeing where north is?
North is up, south is down. Like that's how we're doing basically all of the maps.
Just assumed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get you.
I think there is actually a compass rose back when y'all were like, it says Dragon Barrow on the ground. I wonder where we are. I think there's actually a compass, but I'm not scrolling over there. So 2 things. The first thing is y'all all hop over the pit, and about the time the clump of you get back to that center stairwell, the little light ball, the camera spins around, and you see the light ball kind of come out of the column in that slow, like, where are they going? And then it kind of just floats up and into the soil upwards and fades out, and the light like dies on that room as the camera pans back around, and you see the 3 desecrated sarcophagi, and it pans back around. And then we get a nice, we'll call it a star wipe, back out to Zook and Tybor, who are talking to this Centaur. And when we last left, the Centaur was saying that there was a bunch of orcs in league with this weird half-orc spellcaster group, and that they've taken up residence in this hill full of caves. And he's saying, well, if your friends are lucky enough to survive whatever perils lie in the Barrow below, I would very much like to guide you to the place where these orcs are desecrating my forest. They're a plight, a disease upon my land, and I would love to see them driven out. And we'll figure out what Zook is saying to this guy on the back end as we come back to the group of y'all, and there's a little light floating in the room to the south.
Sounds like some good role play at the beginning of next session.
Yep. I got one, Curtis.
What's that?
Figured it out. I got one for you. It's
Oh
coming.
no.
Yeah, we'll do it after this room. It'll be great. It'll be fun.
I don't like what's about to happen. I don't like it.
Okay.
Okay.
No, never mind. I'll save it for Zook. Maybe. You got a light floating in the room to the south.
As Ratheon crosses the threshold of this hall and can see it, he once again sort of freezes and his eyes get all weird and sallowed. And he's not going to produce his weapon. Instead, he's going to just raise his hand again out towards it. And I need it to make a wisdom save.
Rackle. I'm going to click on this other one because it's not on the GM layer. Wisdom save. 7.
That's good. Let me make sure it was, in fact, a wisdom save before I make myself look dumb. All right. So in that moment, Ratheon's going to raise his hand, and you're going to see that sort of like weird black, blue, shadowy mist that appeared the last time that he frightened all of those orcs away. Sort of pouring out of the slits in his mask and then coming up his arm and out around his hand towards this thing. And he's going to speak out to it, but his voice isn't his own. Instead, it comes on in that big, boomy, dark voice that he had before, something like, what does he want to say?
You got this.
I had something. He's
You are mine.
There we go.
Child of damnation, obey me.
And he's going to clench his fist.
It's like doing this little figure 8 thing, and as soon as you start talking, it slows down, and when you say that, it comes to a solid stop, and it just hangs there in midair.
And as he clenches his fist, he's going to sort of pull it in towards him, and I want it to just drift right up next to me.
Okay. It will begin to slowly float your direction down the hallway. I don't know how far you pull it.
Just to right in front of me there.
Yep. I'm saying
I'll sort of like move my fingers through it like this, and like that black mist from my hand will sort of intermingle with its spiritual nature. And I'll just sort of act as if nothing happened.
Your hand goes through it, and you got that nice little black smoke tendrils coming off. And as you go through the orb itself, not only is the smoke tendrils coming off your hands, there's little static electricity arcs between your gloved fingers and stuff as you go through the orb itself. So both smoke and sparks, and then you come out the other side, and it goes back to smoke.
Loftus steps back, like into General's space, with a look of horror upon his face.
General kind of catches him and, as best he can, pushes him off to the side, maybe 6 inches. It's like, Ratheon, have you ever heard of heavy metal? It's really your style.
Yeah, he absolutely has. And he's just, for maybe a good solid minute, not paying attention to any of you. He's just transfixed on this thing. And at this point, if you could see his eyes, they have just gone jet black, like obsidian. Like they catch the light and that's it.
Cazador has been looking over her shoulder and occasionally back at Ratheon's unholy transformation, seeing the light ball up there. She's going to say, "We have company."
Yes, I saw another one this way as well.
It might be mad about what you've done to its compatriot.
Show me.
Where did you say it was? That way? Yeah.
And now his mace is back out and his shield is off and he's heading towards whatever direction you're pointing.
North. Exactly the opposite side of the central column from you. Does your little Orby guy, I'm not reading, that's like 3 paragraphs.
For the next 24 hours, he's under my complete command.
Okay, it's going to float around behind you like Guilty Spark and just be your friend.
Perfect.
There's another one in the northmost room. And it was kind of floating around when Alum was looking at it and when Cazador was looking at it. But as you come around the corner and you have another one in tow, like it stops and just kind of observes for a second.
And I will do that Arthas from the Wrath cutscene with my mace out towards it. And I'm going to command my new buddy to go kill his friend.
Okay. We will get it to the point that it's not expecting an attack. So we will start with the first lightning zap and then we'll roll initiative. So let me go grab a fresh Will-O-Wisp token. I have 2 tokens so that y'all didn't immediately be like, that's a Will-O-Wisp token. You can see that one.
Yep.
You can see that one.
Yep.
Go for the straight.
So the first shock is going to be a miss as the lightning kind of dissipates into the other orb, and we will roll the initiatives. Y'all were already doing that. I'm running behind.
Wow. Everybody's above 10 for a change.
And I think we just rolled a straight.
Dope.
Nice.
Nice. 14, 15, 16, 17.
Let's go to Vegas, everybody.
24. Oddly enough, the bad guy gets to go first. It's going to not quite understand and is just going to spend its action moving away from your friend, who then gets an attack of opportunity. I'm assuming you take it.
Yeah. No, its current command is to destroy its friend.
It misses big time. And in fact...
Shocking.
1, 2, 3. It'll end up right there. Longtooth. There's floating orbs. They're attacking each other. Weird shit's happening.
You know, he's not so concerned about these orbs right now. He's way more concerned about Ratheon.
You should be.
And he's not about to jump past Ratheon to get involved in two magical balls of light doing whatever two balls do. He's taking the dodge. He's going to move up to get a better view, but he's taking the dodge action, and he's just kind of having a wait and see attitudes to follow Ratheon's lead to a point.
Okay. At this point, nothing is happening. One zapped the other. It tried to zap back. Nothing happened, so it went to run away, and it also missed. So a whole bunch of magical arcs back and forth with no real activity. Ratheon.
I am going to move. 5, 10, 15,
Stop.
5. Oh, God. Did I trap again?
Yep.
Shit.
Roll a d6 and a d4.
God damn it.
That's what I said I should go first, just FYI.
Yep, you sure did.
He got all caught up being evil.
You take 5 bludgeoning damage from the fall, and then you land on 4 rusty swords, so roll 4d6.
Oh, no.
This is probably for the best. It'll probably shake him out of whatever's happening.
You take 16 piercing damage from
21.
rusty-ass swords.
I'm still up.
Wow.
Hope you
Oh, not minus 214.
What the? Yeah, that's wrong. I'm gonna
Let's
move
see. I had
the
28,
wisp
so I
so
have
that I can
7.
see it.
There we go.
It's totally above you, but just for the sake of the map. You catch like a sword in each armpit, and there's like one on the upper thigh, and then one like on your ankle. That's the 2. The ankle is the 2.
You're hearing like a cacophony of voices cry out in pain as he lands.
And then nothing. Anything else on your turn, sir? You still technically have an action.
I mean, I'll use my action to get back up out of the hole.
Okay, would you like to get up on the south end or the north end?
The north end. Thank you.
Okay. And that's it.
Actually, I'll do it there.
Okay. Illume. You watched him stomp off, face plant down into a pit, begrudgingly get up, still cussing, and make it 10 more feet. It was spectacular. What
Is
you
the
got,
orb
Clay?
actually over the pit?
Yeah, it's over the pit.
I like to imagine that you see him stomp off with purpose, just vanish as he slides into the hole, cries out in agony, and then pops right back up and keeps going.
Blades sticking out of them.
So the orb was floating about face level. Were you going to walk through it, or were you going to duck under it as you stomped up there?
Nah, I just walk right through it. Okay. Or I guess it's my orb, right? I can just make it move out of the way.
Sure. I was setting my scene as whether you like went to duck and that's the point you fell into the floor, or whether there was any like head movement at all, or if you kind of like batted the orb and the moment that happened. Just painting a nice mental picture of Ratheon disappearing onto the top of 4 swords.
So, Longtooth and Jamril hear Illum, and she's oh no, what's he gotten into now? And she goes charging down to like see what the hell is going on. I imagine she sees the pit.
I was muted again. Sorry, stream.
Ratheon, are you okay?
Ah, shit, that was on the wrong one. That should say Ratheon is leaking blood and smoke. Ratheon does not reply. He doesn't even look back.
So she's kind of out of movement for the moment and doesn't want to take a chance to get across yet. So she's just going to like sort of press herself into the corner in case anyone else wants to try to get by her. Do I have any sense if this wisp in front of me is controlled or not?
You would have had line of sight on it as Ratheon walked by, so it's clear that this is the one that was following him. Okay. And it's not hostile towards you right now. It doesn't have a face, but it's like it's slowly floating because obviously it's not paused while you're moving. It's slowly floating after Ratheon.
The demeanor of the light is very nice.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, so Illum is just pressing herself into the wall there, and again, if anything gets gnarly, she'll just react with a Eldritch Blast.
I'm gonna go get the flowchart. Jamro.
All right. Well, Jamro can't see anything that's been going on, nor has he seen Cazador in quite some time. So he'll look at Longtooth and say, well, I guess I'm the rear guard now. And he'll brandish his rapier and remain here and attack anything that tries to follow our companions.
Big damn hero.
Bless his heart.
What does that make us? Big damn heroes, sir.
Brave Jamro.
Yep. Cazador.
All right, so I cannot see what a lot of people are doing except for this very narrow area.
That makes sense. Isn't dynamic lighting awesome?
Yeah. So I'm going to move up here. Kind of try to get the feel, because Cazador really bases what she's doing off of what everyone else is doing to try to find the most appropriate thing.
Everyone else is kind of standing and waiting on something to happen. And
yeah.
Ratheon, I don't know if you can see Ratheon.
I can.
Okay, then Ratheon is angrily stomping out into a room way to the north.
So, I'm going to get in, see what's going on, and that's pretty much it. I'll just be prepared to dodge should anything light ball over towards us.
I haven't played WoW in like forever, but I'm still /Ring to reply to whispers instead of the actual whisper function.
I still don't know how to reply to you. I got your message, but
/W space
space
GM.
Yeah, stupid. Should just be R.
Okay. Roger Dodger. It is your Wisp's turn, Mr. Ratheon.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it on its command to destroy this one. I have no other priorities for it yet.
Okay. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. Zappy? No Zappy. Rolled an 8.
But I like all the little tiny thunder cracks.
You can't see that they're not damaging each other, but they're definitely shooting zaps back and forth. And as far as you know, progress.
They're communicating with each other.
it is now the enemy's orb's turn, but it's top of the round, so we're going to quick jump back to Zook and Tybor. Like, I don't know, they're like eating sandwiches at this point with this random centaur, just having a good old time while y'all are falling in pits and, you know, pulling bits of rusty sword out of Ratheon. And it's just a really quick, like, flash scene because the centaur's like, yeah, the orcs are a complete plague, a disease upon the Neverwinter Wood. And I kind of see myself, I guess you would say that I'm the centaur of disease control. And then it jumps back to y'all.
You interrupted combat for that.
Yep.
I like got a laugh out of me, so I don't mind.
I think he might be half ass.
Zzzt. Nothing happens, and it's Longtooth's turn.
Longtooth, 1, 2, 3, 4, hop over the pit, 5, 6. So it's 30. He fine. He shoulders his way up, hops over the pit, and he'll take a stab at the bad light, the far light.
Got it.
Let's see if he can do something useful here. Does a 17 hit?
It actually does not hit.
All right. He stabs into the light and he's like, I hate this place.
Super fun. Ratheon.
All right. Ratheon's going to stomp over to the other side of it. And I would like to use my inspiration
Okay.
as I reach up and plunge my gauntlet into the center of this thing and cast Inflict Wounds.
Okay.
Does a 19 hit it?
19 exactly hits it, so good on your inspiration.
Hell yeah. Then yeah, I just pump 15 points of black energy into it.
I don't think it has any particular... Oh, it does. It's actually resistant to necrotic energy. So it takes 8. Sorry. Round up. Down.
Down.
Yeah, sorry. Too much other systems in my head.
But it's the most like deliberate, non-violent, just focused damage dealing you've ever seen. He's just placing this necrotic energy into it and started trying to rip the life force that's keeping its undeath intact out of it.
Got it. Illume. Things are happening.
They are. Oh dear. I can see clearly that Ratheon and one of these are like fully engaged with each other now, right? Oh dear. Am I going to be able to get across considering where Longtooth is standing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm fully aware of how much 5 feet actually is, and Longtooth is not 5 feet wide.
Well, he's a big boy, but I probably can sneak past. So I will jump to like this direction here, I think. But I have to back up a bit to do it because, 10 strength. So that's about my limit. And so I will do that. So let's call that half of my movement. Does that seem reasonable?
Sure.
To get to there. And then maybe another, probably, yeah. I think that's about as far as I can get. And then she looks at Ratheon and says, Ratheon, what are you doing? That's going to be her turn.
He's got 2 large, like, streams of blood cascading down his armor. Like, it's not actively pumping, but he has, like, a nice set of blood stains right down both the sides of his ribs, as well as the earlier puncture holes in his legs. So he's looking great.
Yeah. You're injured. Oh.
Indeed.
Illume's done.
Jam roll, unless Illumi had anything else.
Again, I son of a gun. I said I've been holding. I think I'm gonna. I don't have a line of sight on this sucker yet. Yeah, I can't really do anything yet. So
You could shoot it from there, but I'm going to give it 3/4 cover.
Sure. What the hell? 17. Probably gonna miss with the -5. So that's a 12. Never mind. She's like trying to shoot some energy around the corner, but it's sort of ineffective, and that's all.
Jamro.
Okay, Jammer will run up the tunnel a bit till he gets to Cazador, and he's like, "What's going on in there?"
Lots of stuff.
Oh, well, I guess I'll just stay here still. And he kind of waves his hand over Cazador's shoulder, doesn't make contact with her, but just kind of gets close to, like he's thinking about rubbing her shoulders, and bardically inspires her. And
He
I'll hold
hand Bardic inspires.
exactly, and then I'll hold my.
It's like when you sneak up on a dog and pet it when it's not paying attention. Like,
Actually, I got the image of those being young and guys are uncomfortable touching girls, like they fake hug,
Exactly.
like around without touching.
Yeah, the hover hand, I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Jamrol's respecting my boundaries.
Cazador, let's take your turn real quick. The baby is really screaming upstairs, so let's do one more top of the round, and I'm going to go help the whiff as we take our 10-minute break.
perfect.
Okay, well, Cazador is going to very dramatically just run down the hallway, jump over the thing, and if we're attacking the things, we're attacking the things.
Do you fist Ratheon's balls?
No. Is this his? Is this the one, his that I'm looking at?
The close one is mine.
Yeah, Ratheon's balls in your face.
How much attention have I been paying to which one is which?
Probably 0 knowing Cazador.
Yeah, probably 0. All right, I'm going to stab it.
Got it. That hits and does 4 piercing damage.
And because this is new, cautious Cazador, I'm dipping back out of the way.
All right.
Insolence.
We're going to come to the top of the round. I'll spare y'all a swipe to the pun Centaur. We are going to take a quick 10-minute break. I'm going to go help the wife real quick. Everyone, hang tight. We'll be right back.
Bye, everyone.
Well, Ben just ran off, so I think he had a minute.
Yeah, you got a minute.
Awesome. Okay, so I've said this before. I've been playing for ages, right? So when we were in high school, I had a character that is one of my favorites. I used to play. I love paladins, right? So I'm playing this paladin. We're low level, and there's 2 parts to this story. The first one is I rolled an 1898 for his strength. So in AD&D, you rolled if you had an 18 strength, you rolled percentile dice, right? 98 is ridiculously high.
+2 to hit, +5 damage.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm that nerdy.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. A few years ago, I probably would have had that memorized too, but, that's right. 0, 0 is +6. Yeah. We open a door. We're in a cave, and I open a door, and there's a kobold like on the other side of the door. And I'm like, okay, wait, I want to interrogate this fool. So I'm gonna grab him, and I want to try to like knock him against the wall and knock him unconscious. And I critted my roll, and so just even with the just strength damage, I basically turned him into a pulp. So there was this moment of like, I look at the rest of the party like, oops, and then that same character, we didn't have a thief in this party, right? It was all magic users or fighters or whatever. So every time we come up to a locked door, everybody's like, well, so what are we going to do? Well, this was like, I had never heard of a paladin using anything other than a sword. I made this paladin use a great axe. And so I'm like, well, get out of the way. I can open it. And I'm gonna hack the door down. And I jokingly said, okay, well, knock, knock. and I just start hacking the door down. And then we get to another door at some point otherwise. And rather than actually going through that whole description, I'm like, okay, well, knock, knock. And so like after 2 or 3 times, I literally named my axe Knock Knock. And so then I go on, like I played that character up through like 8th or 9th level or something. And so over the course of that character's career, I had that axe like enchanted and blessed, and so this became like his.
And it was Knock Knock.
Exactly, his like ongoing classic.
When you don't have the thief in the group, you just send the paladin out ahead of you to Fallen Pits. That's the obvious answer.
Apparently, yeah.
Hey, it
I'm just
works.
glad you didn't pick the bard.
Indeed, I'm just worried about the tetanus.
Now I wish I had picked Constitution instead of Charisma.
All right,
We're
well, that
ready
was
to-
my nerd out moment.
Yeah, I like hearing those kind of stories.
Hell
And I jumped back to the stream, so the stream got to hear it, and it's actually part of the recording, even though it may get. I'll include it.
Cool.
I'm a boss man. I can do that.
Yeah, you are.
And we're back. Even though I'm gonna totally include Gregory's story in the recording, we are officially back now. And we were ending at the top of a round as y'all were fighting some willow wisps. Actually, you mind controlled one, so not so much fighting multiples, except for Cazador.
I did not mind control it. I bent it to my will.
The old pedantic paladin.
Splitting hairs.
It's your orb's turn. What would you like to do since it is bent to your will? It's got one ability that makes sense right now. It cannot consume life. And unless you want it to go through some walls, it can zap stuff or it can become invisible. What do you want it to do?
I was tempted to send it after Cazador for attacking it, but I don't think I want to open up that can of worms. So I'm just going to have it keep attacking the other one.
They have a 19 armor class because why not? Nope. Bzzzt. At the top of the round, threats in chat. At the top of the round, the other one is going to take the disengage action though and whoomp into the column in a strangely parallel to the previous. It floats away from Ratheon and into the column in the center of the room, and the light fades out, leaving all of y'all standing there. And now that the rest of you are in this room, I'm going to give you some more information that only Ratheon had previously. There are 2 more sarcophagi, one on each side of a center column, which is packed earth. But in this bigger open northern area, there is a curvature of wall, and all along that wall, you ever those things in Skyrim where you get the new dragon words, basically, but instead of dragon runes all over it, there are a bunch of dragon bones embedded into the dirt. So it's not a full-built skeleton, it's just random bones kind of packed into the walls. And sitting square on the floor in the center of the room is a massive dragon skull. And at this point, we are going to diverge slightly from the text as written because there's supposed to be a longsword atop this dragon skull. But I decided instead I would make it something that more fits these characters because these characters are so awesome. So would someone remind me who rolled the highest D100? I believe Clay had an 86.
That sounds right.
When was that?
In chat, in Discord.
Yeah, I think I had the highest with 86.
Oh, I
Okay.
did not see this, but that's fine.
Okay. What weapon would you like to be resting atop this dragon's skull?
Well, it's got to be a spear, right? It's got to be a long spear, right? Like a pike.
Describe this dragon slaying weapon.
This dragon lance.
Is right. Let's see what you did there. It's setting across, so the dragon's horns come out of the back of its head and kind of fold back, and right across those 2 horns is this dragon killing long spear. Describe the weapon.
Dragon Slayer.
The shaft of the weapon is of an unusual dull gray metal. At first, you think it might be iron, but iron would have rusted by now. So certainly some type of unknown alloy. But at the end of this long shaft is 2 feet of graceful steel that kind of leafs out wide before tapering thin into a fine, sharp point. Again, the metal, you're not really quite sure. It has almost a chrome-like appearance, but it has a slightly greenish tint, as the curve of the blade fades from view. So there's some type of color-shifting nature about the metal of the head. And within the leaf of the spear tip are some type of knotwork type pattern that runs the center of the blade before tapering off towards the point.
That is awesome. I'm so glad I let you do that instead of doing my own.
That's
description.
crazy awesome.
So yeah, that's what you see. That sitting atop the calcified, it's not quite sun bleached, but it's clearly aged dragon skull sitting in this room, and 2 sarcophagi.
Well,
and you're out of initiative.
Yeah, Longtooth will move up to the north part of the room, wherever this is. Trying to see.
What kind of insane person would fight a dragon with a sword? That's why I love the movie Dragon Slayer. He used a spear. Hello.
Right. So
that's why I'm not at all upset about changing it, especially because I figured that it was about time Ratheon or Longtooth got something magical, and both of them are using polearms, and a polearm makes sense for fighting dragons. So I was glad that both of them were in the running for it.
So yeah, I mean, Longtooth looks at that spear, looks at his spear, looks at that spear, looks at his spear, clunk. He throws his spear off to the side. You hear the wood kind of clink off the ground there. And he was slowly, almost anticipating some type of trap, because Ratheon keeps on falling to the floor every time he walks forward. So he doesn't know if it's going to cause a cave-in or whatnot. He's cautious, but he'll grab it. If nothing happens, he'll then pull it away quickly and step back.
Okay. So let's go ahead and step you all the way up there where, well, we'll call it here. Yeah, go ahead and roll initiative.
Roll initiative? Okay.
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
Curtis, you now have control of the wisps. The reason I did not do that before is giving you control of one of them would have showed you where all of them were, unless I hadn't specifically made another sheet. So I didn't want you to see where all of them were hiding in the walls and stuff.
Smart.
Longtooth's 4 makes a lot of sense because he's up there kind of, wiping the jewel off his lip.
Noise.
Spear.
I like Gregory had to be the one to be like, we all rolled above 10 this time.
We regress to the mean.
14 for me.
Glad someone's still paying attention.
Yep. So the surprise round is going to happen. Let me close out some stuff. Actually, let me keep that open because technically you have this now.
Longtooth lifts the spear up, and then the whole place starts shaking and rumbling. And
Right.
Longtooth, your new spear is a +1 magic weapon, so +1 to attacks and damage rolls. If you hit a dragon with this weapon, the dragon takes an additional 3d6 damage of this weapon's type.
I approve.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you have now. But what happens is the moment that you pick that spear up, there is everyone's back of the neck hairs starts to stand up, and a loom, you feel it first. The air next to you, it just gets freezing cold for a second, and you could swear something moved past you. And then Longtooth, you feel this intense cold right behind you. And we're gonna roll and roll. Looks like the first attack is actually going to miss. You feel the cold and kind of duck out of the way, but the second slam as this invisible specter comes to start materializing behind you and just slams its energies into the back of you. And then that's going to come back around to Illum at the top. Let me... Go ahead. Sorry. I was trying to change layers.
No, that's all good. Did it come into view once that happened? It's still invisible,
No,
right?
I need to. You can't see it, but I needed to get it on a layer where I could click on it and
Of
on
course. That's totally fair. So you can. So Illum is aware that something has entered the space, but doesn't know what and doesn't see anything. Just saw Longtooth getting. All right. So what is Illum gonna do? Give me a moment to consider. I am going to cast a spell. I'm going to cast See Invisibility.
Okay.
For the duration, you see invisible creatures and objects as if they were visible, and you can see into the ethereal plane. Ethereal creatures and objects appear ghostly and translucent.
Okay.
I knew I picked that for a damn reason.
It is. You see it as directly south of Longtooth.
Okay. So I say, after, yeah, I think what happens is Illum pulls her mask from her face, and light shines out, like rimming her eyes. And a moment later, she says, "Longtooth, Ratheon, watch yourselves. It is right here before us, between you." And that's her round. She's done.
Got it. Jamriel.
All right. Well,
Something
hearing
wicked this wicked way comes.
yes, and hearing Illum shouting that, he's going to move up to here, and now kind of seeing this room, he's just going to basically target Longtooth right in the center of it and cast a fairy fire.
Okay.
We all have to save on that, right?
Yeah, if pretty much.
Yep.
But it doesn't really matter because it's us who can see it.
This will be great, guys. Everyone make them. Where did you plot it? So who all needs to make saves?
Right on top of Longtooth.
Everybody.
Everybody, including myself, probably.
Okay. 20-foot cube, dexterity save.
Okay, that's one success. Oh no!
Jammer like ninja flips out of it.
Damn it!
Like he casts it in a backward swan dive.
Yeah. What's your DC? 14?
It is 14,
Damn
so unfortunately the stalker passes.
I'm sorry, buddy.
That's a concentration spell, I believe, right?
It is.
Yeah, just drop it and recast it.
Yeah, pretty much. But
sorry, buddy. It's
he'll give Illum the shoulder rub of inspiration.
As he shrugs like, oops.
Yeah, ending his turn.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't work. Are you sure?
Yes, I can see it clearly. I've given myself the ability to see beyond the normal. Well, whatever.
It is going to attack Longtooth again. It was supposed to
Longtooth,
go
look out!
before Jamroll, but I messed it up because I was reading other things. But nope, that does not work. I have to click it twice, like some kind of. Does a 12 hit you? And does a 15 hit you?
Negative.
Does it have advantage because it's invisible and you can't see it?
Positive.
Should.
So it crits you for 15 damage. Does a 20 hit you?
Wait. The first attack is 8.
Yeah, but the second one is the 15. I was asking if the 20 hits you.
Right, but it's not a crit, right? Because it's not a natural 20.
Right. I was talking about the second attack for the crit.
Okay. All right. So yeah, the crit is obviously going to hit me, and there's no doubt about that for 17.
I just wasn't sure about the 20.
Oh yeah, so I think I get hit twice. I get hit for 17 and 8 for 25.
Ouch.
Oof.
Yep. It don't like that you grabbed its spear
It's my spear. You know how come I know that?
because you're holding it.
Yep, that's right.
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
That's not what that means, but okay.
Cazador, things are happening.
They
Can't
are.
see any of them. Some of your friends are now glowing. Longtooth is getting pummeled by something you can't see.
I see. Cazador thought we were still fighting all of the orbs, so kind of half tempted to go attack the orb, but it's not done anything yet, so I don't know.
Cazador.
Like, I was fighting it, and then I stopped fighting it, and everyone else started paying attention to something else.
They got distracted by shinies.
So I'm gonna move up here because she said it was between the two of them.
Yep.
And I guess I'm just gonna take a wild stab in the area between these two guys.
Got it. Make an attack at disadvantage.
Is that something I can turn on? Oh wait,
It
advantage
rolls
is
like-
disadvantage.
yeah.
Duh.
Math.
I can do it.
You hit it and do 5 piercing damage. Is that a magical weapon?
Nope.
Okay.
But I'm also going to do nothing.
Correct. It takes 2 damage. I'm sure that'll be fine. 53 more attacks like that, and you'll kill this thing.
Oof.
Anything else on your turn?
I will come around over here. And that's all.
Cool. Ratheon.
Well, I don't have anything spectacularly tactical I can do at the moment without being able to see it. So I too am going to swing blindly at that space.
Okay.
For an 11.
That is a miss.
And then I'm going to command Guilty Spark to fly up here and also zap it.
I can't actually remember. What's Guilty Spark's like number designator?
343.
Okay, thank you. Because I could hear the quote in my mind. I just could not assign the numbers to it. So, can you do the Guilty Spark attacks and stuff? You have those controls? Or do you need me to roll it?
Yeah, I think you need to roll him.
You can't.
I don't have his token actions.
No, open the sheet.
I also don't see the sheet.
Hold shift and double click the token.
Yeah, I learned something.
Technically, for anyone listening who wants to learn cool things, if you want to actually open the sheet itself, shift double click opens it, but it opens the bio page. So if you hold shift alt and double click, it will open all the way.
Supposedly, well, actually, just alt. We're just alt double click.
Oh yeah, I guess that works too. Those things. Listen to Gregory. He knows more.
No. I thought it was shift alt, but somebody else pointed out to me that it's just alt. What does it?
Sweet. 10 misses. Lightning arcs through the air, but does not seem to find purchase. I'm going to mute myself because I don't want this next piece on the stream, but muting.
Oh no!
My poor wife. Longtooth, you're being accosted by an invisible something.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously something hits Longtooth and then something thunders into Longtooth, and he kind of staggers back for a second, and just now he has enough breath to cough forward a spray of blood because he got jacked. He got schooled in that moment. And now he's in a panic, so he doesn't know what is going on. Longtooth is going to dodge. You know, he's kind of got the Dragon Slayer or Dragon Tooth, as we will come up with a name for it, out in front of him defensively, and he's just trying to dodge. So trying to eliminate the advantage this invisible creature has against me.
Got it.
because he's about to drop.
Illume.
Is it still in the same spot it was?
Its turn is after yours, so it has not had a chance to move yet.
Oh gosh. So Illum is going to take a chance and pull, like, she runs over into this corner. So I know that's going to provoke, but I don't want disadvantage on my attack. I think that misses. Nope, that hits. That hits. Dang.
You get punched in a buttock as you run past.
Yep. So I'll take the 8. Okay.
Right in the glutes.
Righty. Oops. Wow, how did that happen? Hold on. Okay, let me subtract the damage. And then once she gets into the corner, then she is going to turn. Again, she sort of stowed her mask like inside her robe now, so both of her hands are free. And she makes some signs in the air. You guys have kind of come to familiarize with this. Her eyes ignite again, and electricity collects in her palms, and then she's going to arc out sort of over Longtooth or around Longtooth with trying to strike with a witch bolt. So let's come on, baby. How about a critical hit?
That'll do it.
Oh, this is epic because now y'all can see it. That was the point. All right, so this is level 2.
Give me them damages.
So how about 16 plus, because it's level 2, cast at level 2, so 16 plus another 13 lightning damage. Hopefully it's not immune.
Lightning damages immunities. Nope. Damages resistances.
So yeah, Illum is
Takes
just,
all of it.
she's just channeling all of the energy right now. And her eyes are like glowing brightly, and it's just she's got this, you know, Emperor Palpatine pose right now, and just she's not cackling, but it's got the same level of intensity.
Nice. And you said that, does it make it uninvisible, or can they just see where your attack is going?
I would just imagine that, I mean, there's this arc of lightning through the room that's like striking this creature's body. So there's probably just this ball of energy where it's hitting the body, so that maybe, I mean, it's up to you. Does that let them kind of know where it is?
I am a kind and benevolent GM. And,
you are.
It's 8:43. Y'all can see the thing.
Yes. All right. Illum is done.
It's its turn. Longtooth is still holding the spear, so it's going to attack Longtooth with 2 slam attacks.
No.
Does a 19 hit you?
You're muted, but
Yes, he goes down.
The second attack is going to be against, I think Cazador hit it that first time, so Cazador.
Oh no.
this thing's a wrecking ball.
Yes, it is.
We had like no crits and a bunch of 1s through the rest of the night, and suddenly this fight, like there's been 3 crits already.
This, by the way, if anybody ever talks about wanting to do the epic criticals for max damage thing, this is the reason you don't do that.
Right.
This thing would just be TPKing the party right now.
Yeah, because it's rolling like 2s and 4s on that first number,
Yeah.
which is 2d6s. So like it could be doing 12s instead of 9s. Or sorry, it can be doing
24 is max.
It could be doing 15 on each of those first numbers. Just,
Yeah, so just one-shotting people like an expert boxer.
So, yeah, that's what it does for its turn. Jamrel.
Okay, seeing his ally go down, Jamrel is going to immediately cast Healing Word at 2nd level on Longtooth for 8 points of healing. And then he is going to kind of move to give this thing some more targets. And he is going to strike his familiar pose with his new loot. power pose and cast Dissonant Whispers with his action.
What do you need from me, sir?
That I believe is a Wisdom saving throw, 14.
Because it didn't actually tell me.
And it crits.
This is
Because of course it does.
He just no sound comes out of the loot, and he's just kind of standing there awkwardly in that power pose.
Jamro the Bard, I've heard of you.
He strikes the power pose, he gets the chord and everything, and he power strums, but he misses that much. The camera zooms in on the pick slow motion going past all the strings.
Like an anime.
Not actually making any contact.
Yeah, air guitar doesn't work.
Anything else on your turn, sir?
Nope, that'll be it.
Okay. Cazador, it punched you.
It did. And I was down, and then I was up, and I was down again because I couldn't figure out how much damage I had taken. But I'm up, and I'm ready to go. So I'm going to flurry this guy's blows. Hopefully.
Hit.
Nice.
Eat it!
22, 9,
You're still in
20. Hopefully. Oh, yeah, you can. Might.
What's the commentary here? I don't know what's going on.
You have Bardic Inspiration.
You do have an extra d6 if you'd like it.
For that 9? Now let's try it.
No.
It was from Jamrel.
Yeah,
He didn't.
it's
he didn't
on brand.
touch you though, because you got the hover hand, so it wasn't the full force magic shoulder rub that Longtooth and everyone
Probably
else
never
has
even knew that it happened. He was just like,
Hey, it's still 11 damage.
so I do something.
Correct. Any movement?
Yes.
Okay, and then Ratheon, you're on deck.
Dun, dun. Smashy, smashy. Or not. Or not. Whiff!
Y'all really need to come up with a reason to have advantage on these attacks.
Yeah.
Seriously. Well, we had,
We tried.
we had Fairy
Jamrel
Fire.
tried. Critical save.
You do that thing where you don't get attacks of opportunity, right, Cazador? Mm-hmm. Cool. Longtooth,
Just
you
13
wake up.
hit it.
So yeah, Longtooth got the snot knocked out of him.
Sorry, I forgot about your wisp. 13 does not hit.
Okay.
Longtooth, you wake up and you are on the floor and your spear is laying long perpendicular to you across the tile, and you wake up and the world bleeds back into view. What do you do?
He goes, he climbs his feet, grabs that spear.
Nice, good inhale of dust, by the way. Just want to point that out.
Well, he's a connoisseur of dust. He's tasted dust before, like on the hill outside the windmill.
Anthrax?
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
He's going to give it his all. So he can see this thing. He is going to attack this thing with a -5 to hit, +10 damage, and use his inspiration in order to hit. So he's going to give it his all here and see how that works out.
The magical number is 14.
All right. Well, we'll go with the
I
critical.
want a crit!
What the hell? Like, two of them didn't count, but
That'll
we went from no crits to there have been, what, 8
5
critical?
or 6.
Yeah.
So that's 13 + 7 + 20. That's 20 +10 for the power attack. So it's a total of 30 points of damage to this bad boy.
It is still alive.
And then he'll use his bonus attack from his. He'll use his bonus action because he crit to get a full another attack from his heavy great weapon mastery. That's better
And the
than,
bonus.
better than the short half. He doesn't have advantage here, but he's just in a rage right now. He's like in an animalistic panic to defend himself, right? He's like a
And his new
animal.
toy.
He's still doing the -5 to hit, +10 damage. So a 15 hits. So that's another 20 points of damage on top of that. So 50 points of damage for me in this round.
Does the -5 still need to be applied?
Oh, you're correct. You're correct. So 10, I miss.
Yes.
Damn.
So you just lay into this thing, and you can see that it starts to actually back away from you. You can't see the shape yet, but the arc of the witch bolt that's hitting it, kind of center mass, moves away. Not enough to like actively move into the next square, but it's. Wait a minute, these guys might have something on me here, and it's Loom's turn.
Yeah, she is just going to step forward and continue pressing this arc of lightning into the body of this creature. Her eyes are illuminated and she can see it still. And let me scroll back up here to give you some... Oh, I don't know. This might do critical again. That's not going to be cool, so we'll just adjust it.
Ugh.
Because I don't need to make the attack. So it's 10 plus 6. So 16. So 10 and 6, 16 lightning damage round 2.
Got it.
Yeah. She's we can defeat it. Keep working together. She's just
okay.
That's it. She's done.
It's its turn. Longtooth is alive again and holding the spear and the shit out of it, so it's going to slam him twice.
That's a miss.
Ooh.
That's a miss.
Miss. Jammerl, be a hero.
I don't know. I guess now is the time. He'll move forward. Or
Jammerl.
And he'll screw it. He'll try to rapier. Why not? Throwing the loot to the side. It messed with him the first time, so.
Yes!
Guess how many hit points this thing has?
16.
16. You can I can't show it to
Give us the...
All right. So Jammerl kind of steps forward, striking the fencing pose, and just kind of jabs into this thing's eye. And it surprises him as much as all of you. And he kind of has the weight of this thing just drop him forward as it slumps to the floor.
Nice. I was gonna say you can see it on the stream, but I forgot I'm specifically using another account so that the stream can't see all my crazy stuff. But it legit had 16 hit points left. Anyone who wants to do the math from moving forward, knock yourself out.
Jammerl had himself a moment. That was cool.
Yeah. I love it when Jammerl does something.
I know.
So that's what it feels like.
Yes! Excellent work! We did it!
I can see why you guys like this.
Yeah. So the big indicator here is Alum can see it defeated, but also the energy from the witch bolt kind of dissipates, and that feeling of intense cold goes away. And Longtooth is still alive and has his shiny new weapon.
Alum quickly lays a hand on it, like kind of in the center of Longtooth's back, and part of the energy that's been like surrounding her face sort of channels through her arm and then just warms your warms your heart or whatever, or your body, and relaxes your muscles a bit, and she uses her healing hands. So you get 4 hit points.
Well,
it's not a huge amount, but every little bit.
He's got kind of that ragged, wet breath. You think there's blood in his lungs, and it clears up a little bit from your touch. And he nods thankfully. Like, he really can't talk still. He's still jacked up, and he's like, he nods and thanks.
Jammerl, Ratheon, are you okay?
Little guilty spark hovers over the space, and then it starts to shimmer, and lightning kind of arcs around it, and then you just see a bunch of tendrils kind of come up off the floor and into this little orb, and it grows probably, we'll call it 2 more inches in diameter, and just zoop, zoop, and floats back over to Ratheon.
And then Ratheon is going to clench his fist and have it go invisible.
Cazador is going to kind of stalk over to Ratheon and just sort of stand and stare at him and look at him quite critically until she can figure out what the fuck he's on about.
Yeah, I think Illum is similarly like really 100% focused on Ratheon at the moment.
He will stare directly back, unblinkingly through the slits in his helmet at Cazador and not say a word, just sort of looming down at her, emitting smoke.
I much smallly loom back. Loom upwards.
Jamrel, perhaps you can help Longtooth, not looking away from Ratheon.
Sure, of course. Would you like some more healing, Mr. Longtooth?
He
Of
nods.
course.
That is a fine weapon, and you are mightily worthy of it, my friend.
8. Ooh, nice.
That's awesome.
Thank you, my friend.
Back to life you are.
Well, 12 actually, because
All right.
4
Second
and
level.
8, yep.
Yeah, you guys missed it. He's like, thank you, my friends. You don't think he's called you guys his friends before?
That's pretty epic.
yes.
Uh-huh.
General
missed
kind
it.
of like nod, like half nods, like takes a second glance, and then heads back over to where his rapier is still stuck in the skull of this thing, and puts his foot on its face and kind of works it free.
Awesome.
What do you do now? You are in a room with a large dragon skull and 2 moldy sarcophagi.
Jamrel, do you sense anything emanating from these sarcophagi?
No, I don't think my senses are up anymore. I can cast it again if you'd like.
Or I?
We could
Go-
just
go ahead.
open them as opposed to using your magic.
Yeah, I think
My
just to give Jamrel a break, that Loom will probably start the ritual cast herself this time.
My very superficial check above ground didn't reveal anything in this area, but
Let me double check. Nope, nothing that's not currently being carried by the group.
Awesome. I think we found what we were meant to in this, if at all.
that does seem like quite a beautiful weapon.
Perhaps we should see if there's any more darkness that requires cleansing. Eyes on Ratheon.
Are they?
He gone.
I don't know. Yeah, that's fine.
He's been gone for some time.
We're trying to catch up now.
Yeah, so we would definitely.
Hang on, I have to catch the stream up to see all of you jackals.
He's just going to fall in another pit. That's when we catch up with him.
Exactly.
Hey, I used perception this time. He's learned.
You are in a small room. There are 2 more sarcophagi, and there is a narrow crevasse in the western wall. It's big enough that you could squeeze in if you really tried. I'm assuming somebody's magic radar is still going.
Yeah, 10 minutes, so
Nothing in this room.
I'm not detecting anything on this end. Perhaps it's best if we leave these bodies undisturbed.
I mean, I tend to agree with that, but I don't know about everybody else.
I suppose they may have riches. Can we check out what that little... Yeah, I want to look a little closer here.
Sure, Ratheon, stop right there. Actually, go ahead and roll me a d6 and a d4. Okay, 3 more d6s.
Once again, we hear...
Yeah, you actually So you actually hear it through that narrow tunnel that you're standing in front of there, Cazador and Illum. It is a 2 foot wide. It's not carved by like some creature. It looks like it was left this way on purpose. 2 foot wide, packed earth walls tunnel. Ratheon, you take all that damage, but then you are able to climb up out of that hole with no problem. And I have a thing for you, but I'm going to whisper it to you so that the fun is not spoiled. So everyone give me 2 seconds while I whisper to Ratheon.
Let's go find him before he gets into more trouble.
Give me 1 second to get an answer from Ratheon. Yes. But actually, as you step back into that spot, I have a thing for you. And I'm going to announce this one aloud. Don't metagame, guys. Ratheon, as you step back into that square and are facing that direction, the pile of bones begins to kind of knit and move and come together. And it kind of forms underneath the saddle, and it stands up, and it is a full skeletal horse. And it stands there for a second, and then it takes like a 5 foot step closer to you, and just kind of like, it doesn't have hair or a mane anymore, but it does the like head shake, and it's a horse, and it's standing there and it's looking at you.
Did Ratheon just call his steed?
I really regret not channeling my divinity on this horse.
Cazador, did you just come through the tunnel?
I didn't come out the tunnel.
But did you come through the tunnel?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, hang on. I have a thing for you.
And I have rolled perception and stealth.
Okay, your perception check passes. So about halfway down the tunnel, you see that there is a pressure plate on the ground covered in a thin layer of dirt. It is big enough that you can hop over it.
Will do so.
Okay, then you are not buried alive in this little tunnel, and you come out the other side to see Ratheon standing in front of a skeletal horse that seems to be like attempting to nuzzle at him.
Yeah, Ratheon is going to pull off his glove and try to rest it on the horse's skull.
Yep, you get that if you've ever been around a horse and you can stroke down the nose, it does that, except it's just bone.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to calm it.
Very happily accepts your pettings. And it doesn't necessarily make any crazy noises or anything, but it does another little head shake, and you pet its snoot, and it seems happy.
Curtis is one happy guy right now.
I will move to its flank, and I'll just sort of like gently keep my hand on it, letting it know that I'm not a threat to it.
Yep.
But that I'm in contact.
The rest of y'all come around this turn. Right there where you're at, Longtooth is the pit trap, so y'all are all on the north side of this pit trap. Okay. And you see Cazador kind of come from your left out of the middle of nowhere, and you see Ratheon petting a skeletal horse with his little orb floating.
Of course he is. Of course that's what I thought, right?
Just Ratheon standing there, and like he was weird, evil, demonic man in the last 2 rooms, but he's like glove off, petting a dead horsey, and he's got his little light ball, and that's what you walk around the corner into.
But as he's moving gently and carefully around this thing, he's still trailed by black mist.
Of course he is.
And after a few moments, if he gets the sense that this thing feels comfortable, he is going to attempt to throw a leg over it.
Yep, so it gives you another one of those, like, it doesn't have a mane, but it's still acting very horsey. So it gives you another head shake, and you hear the, like, ghostly sound of it exhaling and neighing, and then you put one foot in the stirrup, and it's really rotten and not, like, in the best of shape, but it's good enough that you can hook and up on top of it, and you were sitting on a skeletal riding horse.
Good.
I'll have the wisp move inside of its skull so that its eyes glow.
God, that's righteous.
That happens.
So Gregory is loving this, but Alum says to Jamrel and Longtooth very quietly, like, there's something not right about this.
Cazador, as you get around behind it, it does that like horses are nervous and something's behind it, so it kind of like adjusts itself, and y'all hear the sounds of the hoofs on the tiles, and it's packed dirt in here. You hear the hoofs on the ground, and it just kind of like adjusts itself slightly and is keeping one eye on the fact that you're behind it. But other than that, it seems perfectly, one glowing orb eye. But it's kind of just keeping.
Wow.
It's enjoying the fact that Ratheon is chilling with it, and Ratheon, you have a mount now.
And apparently Ratheon knows exactly how to manage it with that crit on his animal handling.
He's getting guidance from whatever is making him act this way in how to effectively calm this creature.
Nice.
I have never been happier with anything in my entire life.
Literally not a joke. Like that's what happens. Ratheon has an undead horse mount now.
I freaking love
End of story.
God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy, guys.
If Cazador sees Jamrel heading towards that little crack, she's gonna like grab him by the shoulder to make sure he's not headed in that direction.
Oh, is there something bad over there?
Yeah, don't do crack, friend.
Pressure plate.
Oh, got it. I'll stop right here. I was just trying to see that undead horse. What is that thing? It's a little unnerving.
I am unfamiliar with this scenario we are in. But everyone else seems okay with it, so...
I mean, it looks friendly enough, right? I mean...
Friendly?
Well, it likes petting. That's friendly,
how's he going
right?
to get that thing up the stairs? That's what I want to know.
It'll fit. It's
fit.
2 feet wide.
It can squeeze.
I do want to give a quick shout out to AZA Studio, though. They just rated us with 10 viewers. We're approaching the end of our stream, but we do appreciate the group of y'all coming by just in time to see our weird, possibly evil paladin be rewarded with a glowing spark will-o'-the-wisp minion and an undead riding horse, which is pretty awesome. I did not expect y'all to come to this location. I gave it to y'all on the walk up, seeing if y'all would be tempted by it because it's designed for level 5s. And then the fact that y'all came in here is super surprising, but Jamrel got a new loot. Alum got a necklace of fireballs. Ratheon got a horse, and Longtooth got the spear. So like y'all is just, this has been a really upgrading the gear in the party kind of session.
Yeah, I know. I feel sad for Cazador.
And I still got my stick.
Yeah, and Alum probably... Yeah, Alum
Those
was
do
thinking...
nothing for me.
Yeah, right. Alum is probably not intending to keep that necklace. It's more like she knows Longtooth doesn't exactly have an affinity for magic. So yeah, it's probably going to be passed off to someone else in the group soon.
We did the D100 to figure out who was getting the Dragon Slayer, and I was like, there for a minute, Cazador was winning, and I was trying to describe some really sweet, like, knuckle spikes made out of dragon teeth or something.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was getting hyped for it.
Like dragon push daggers.
Yeah.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Clay had to show up in
wouldn't
chat and be
either.
like, how's an 86 going?
Wow.
If we're getting back into the scene, since everyone else seems to have left, Cazador is going to continue her iron grip on Jamrel and kind of like move him out into the hallway so that he's not alone in this room with Ratheon.
I think we all sort of, well, Alum is going to move back towards the stair out and say, I believe we've checked this entire location, unless there are secret doors that we missed.
Let us count our blessings and be out of this place.
Yes, that is wise.
It is 9:10. I'm going to request that based on things happening in the other room involving Z Baby, that we shut down a little early tonight. So let's call it five minutes of like outro roleplay as the group of y'all approach back to camp, and we'll end at the point where y'all arrive at camp with Zook talking to a Centaur and Tybor the super scaredy cat guy. But as weird as that is, y'all are also approaching with like a new loot, a shiny stick, an undead horse, a glowing orb, and like it's both parties are like, what the fuck?
So about the glowing orb, as Ratheon, he's going to be the last one out, obviously. And as he reaches the bottom of the stairs here, he's actually going to pull it up to his face, and he's going to speak to it and tell it to continue to defend this place, and then he's going to release it.
Okay. It will glow and start to disappear down into the ground, and as it does, you see the two that you did not defeat kind of rise up to meet it, and all three watch you for a second, and then they fade back down into the grass and disappear.
And you guys will see a moment later as you're all up top, he's going to come clip-clopping out on his horse. No longer emitting smoke and with a cigar lit.
I had one small request, which is a totally mechanical one. I'm just curious. Can you take the dynamic lighting off so we could just see the coolness of the map?
Sure. You may have to refresh your page, but the dynamic lighting is off as of now.
Awesome. Yeah, I will definitely refresh. I want to see it.
Everything is destroyed.
So once his friends are somewhat safe, you've noticed that Jamril has been fiddling with this new loot for quite some time, and as he gets back to camp, he's probably had enough time that he begins playing it, and the butterfly wings appear on his back once again, and they kind of are flapping as he's playing. And then as the song comes to a close, he uses the wand of pyrotechnics, which has been strapped to the back of the lute, and just sets off a beautiful display of fireworks at the climax of the song.
That's awesome.
Guitarist. Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
Seriously. I love it.
Sound can come out of this thing.
That was amazing.
Why, thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, that is where we're going to close down for tonight, is the group of y'all walking up on camp. The camera does like a double rotate around. So it does a quick pan around, you all seeing just Centaur sitting there and talking to Zook, and it's a weird, like, Zook is tiny and the Centaur is just freaking built. And then Tybor's kind of just sitting on the cart with the ox and hanging out. But there's that weirdness, and then it pans around to y'all, and you have cigar smoking Ratheon dead center of the group atop his horse with like the sun setting, because y'all are coming from the west heading to the east. The sun is behind y'all, and then you have spray of sparks, Jamril, bard songing it up. You got Longtooth with this like 7-8 foot long like chameleon paint job spear walking up. And then Alum, have you put your mask back on?
I think she would when they were walking out. That's sort of her. Like, once combat kind of calms down, once she sort of like is somewhat recentered and refocused, she would definitely pull it out of her robe, put it back on. And I just want to say that I think Ratheon is competing now with Alum for.
All eyes on you.
Yeah.
Got it.
He's all back to normal now.
Who's except mounted on a skeletal horse.
It's true.
You'll be the talk of the town.
We are definitely going to be turning heads in Phandalin.
I will double check that it like doesn't regain the skin or anything. I didn't see that, but I am fine with it being a skeletal horse, even if it says it becomes corporeal.
I suspect Curtis is also fine with it being in
Yeah, I'm totally
Right.
cool with that.
But that is where we are going to shut down tonight, folks. Any closing comments? Final last words?
Nope, that was awesome.
Had a lot of fun
Sweet.
tonight.
I will chat with y'all in Discord to try to find out where y'all are going, and I'm going to talk to Aviad, and I'm going to allow him to have role played with the Centaur while y'all were down in here. So we may start next session with some Discord-based information, and we'll do a catch-up right after Jamrel gives us our last time on the show intro. But that was a lot of fun.
Totally awesome.
I was a little bit worried, especially considering the level warning going into this place, and I knew the sparks would just kind of bug y'all and then disappear. But that stalker, I was like, I don't know how this fight's gonna go. So
Really bad and then really good.
No doubt. It started off horrendously, but we had like 3 clutch moments in a row. So
It's all around.
yeah.
Yeah, in life, that guy was like a ninja master.
Right.
Carried it over into death.
yup. But we will be back at 6:30 PDT next week. And thanks everyone for hanging out. Thanks for all the new follows, and thanks AZA for the raid. I will hit you up on Discord to continue to shower you with love. So thanks everyone.
See you next
Bye.
All right.
Good night, folks.
Bye.